My name, at this juncture, is unimportant. I will likely reveal it at a later point in time, but for the meantime, John Smith will be the suitable alias. Before I reveal to you some of the files I have archived, I will need to explain to you a bit more about myself and why I am doing this. Hopefully, this will grant you a better insight into myself. I am, for the lack of a better word, a sociopath. But unlike the ones with poor impulse control and self-destructive behavior, I have ingrained to me at a young age proper life skills by my father after he caught me standing over the fourth cat I killed. It was not out of malice. I doubt it was even curiosity, and I am not trying to make an awful pun. I just did it. He demanded to know the reasons for my actions, and I explained that the cats had started to follow me, and I found it annoying. When I asked if I did anything wrong, there was a shock in his eyes, as I later come to realize. He explained to me that the cats I had killed were beloved pets of other families who will want to know where they went. I didn't understand why this was so important, but his urgency in his voice made the impression that while I may not have cared, other people would. "Are they going to throw me in jail?" I asked. He looked at me for a moment. "I won't, but I need to understand why you act this way, and I will teach you how to blend in to the rest of the world. Your actions have dire consequences for your life if you do not maintain control, so I will lead you. It would be difficult, but the lessons are valuable." In short, he trained me like I was an army private. Strict timeable, strict punishment, constant drills into theoretical situations, but he was never aggressive. There were times where I could see the predatory mindset that he might not have been aware of trying to push through, but he kept it in check. Being on a military base most of my life, the discipline was familiar. Eventually, I would join the army, and I did fairly well. While I did not understand why others did, I was aware that they would have motivations. The rest of my life was, I believe, mundane. Nothing of significance really appears to my mind. But then again, it's not like I have a good point of comparison. I was 8 years into my service. I was acknowledged as a capable soldier who was dependable. One night, during a night exercise in a country that I cannot speak of due to certain laws, my unit was performing reconnaissance. A potential intruder was sighted, and we were to verify the identity. 6 soldiers walked into the forest that night, and I was the only one who walked out. It was one truly definitive point in my recent years. We were deep into the forest. We were in standard search formation. Then Jacobs heard a crack and signaled us to halt. As our eyes swept around to locate the source, something rushed and took Hill. The scream was shortened by a loud crack. His neck was broken. Tommy went to investigate, but got dragged into the woods before anyone could countermand his actions. "Open fire?" I asked softly. "Negative. Our people might still be in there." Knives were drawn, and by that time, another soldier was dragged screaming into the woods. 3 of us were left, and the discipline was diminishing. "Fuck it," grumbled Erickson behind me. As soon as there was movement, Erickson fired. We watched the bullets hit the creature, but no wounds were visible. This tall, lanky creature slammed his fist into Erickson's head with a crunch noise that I cannot describe. I was grabbed and thrown to the side. My head smacked a tree, and I was dazed. I could barely hear gunfire and growls that sounded more than bestial, if that makes sense. Shaking my head, I pushed myself upright. The guns were useless, and this thing was far too quick and too strong to be human, and it didn't match any known animal that I was aware of at that point. Rustling could be heard around me for 3 very tense minutes. They seemed to lead deeper into the woods. I was preparing to head into the forest to verify the status of my men, when I felt it stand behind me.
"Empty,"
it said. This pale creature looking into me with presumable sunken eyes, revealing what looked like black eyes. The image of a piece of meat at a butcher shop dangling by one of those hooks immediately popped into my head.
"Empty,"
it repeated. Then it turned around and slipped away. I couldn't move or act. The distant noises indicated that it was walking away, but the pace seemed more deliberate, like it was dragging my men. I left the forest, heading back to the base. After an intense briefing and threats of the court-martial, I was allowed to remain an active soldier while undergoing therapy. Mental breakdown was the official diagnosis, while the unit was deemed MIA. They sent out 4 units to locate my old unit. 3 men returned, husks of what they once were. When I got a chance to lock eyes, we nodded once. We knew. After my service, I left and decided to further investigate the krypton phenomenon. During this time, I would find that the entity that killed my unit and several other soldiers was the Wendigo. My theory about the Wendigo hunger isn't that it seeks human meat to survive, but humanity. The human soul is what it seeks. Knowing it is lost when it consumes human flesh, it considers that it might regain it the same way, not realizing that it is the act itself that will doom it to remain a Wendigo. No longer an active soldier, I researched the cryptids, but I wanted to go further than most enthusiasts. I spoke with another soldier, who asked to remain nameless, about the deep web and the best way to browse it. He explained to me the nature of some of the sites in the dark web, but I explained that I wasn't seeking that, but the back channels, the deep web. He gave me a copy of his custom browser that he dubbed the Fly, because it was small enough and looked seemingly inconsequential. It could flit past the red rooms and the like to go deep. He explained the setup and I thanked him. After setup, I went into the dark side of the internet. I was testing the program out, and it worked perfectly. A few red rooms were displaying their entertainment, and I was able to slip past most admins. One was particularly aggressive in his actions, but the setup for this program made IP tracing a pointless endeavor. I don't fully understand the complexities, but I know that person and trust their work. So I plunged into the depths of the deep web, seeking government disclassified documents and the like, and I stumbled across a forum of coroners. Unlike other coroners, they didn't deal with murder, suicide, or mundane mysteries. Their victims were all cryptid or supernaturally related. I mentioned my interest in their jobs, and I explained that I sought answers. The users were not happy with my presence, but when I explained to them my encounter with the Wendigo, they actually recognized me. Apparently, certain reports from psychiatrists can make it to them if certain words were used, and the doctor did not suspect the subterfuge. They offered a deal. I archived some of their cases, and I will learn about what happened to my unit. They didn't seem to have a problem if I were to release most of the details to the public, but they warned that most people would not accept the surreality of the world. But if I could garner some interest, they would allow it, as long as personal details were omitted. I would come to understand why later on, but I agreed. Hey guys, Psychotic Maniac here. I hope you guys enjoyed part 1 of I Am a Deep Web Archivist. This has been a series that I have wanted to do for the longest time. I started school and my time went out the window. I am back and hopefully you guys enjoy this series. I do want to point out that in my 1,000 subscribers livestream, some people had pointed out that why I was celebrating for reaching 1,000 subs without uploading in a long time. I do apologize for that. In the beginning of the year, I had tonsillitis and became a father, and later on, I got engaged. I had started the process of school, and then I had recently been on medication for my anxiety. Which brings me to another point. If you need to, please get help. Regardless of what it is, please get help. I have gone a long time without receiving any help for my mental disorder. My fiance pushed me to get help because I couldn't or wouldn't allow myself to. For most of my life, I have been working and never gave myself a break, which led my mental state to worsen. Thankfully, with medication and seeing a specialist, I am getting better. So please, if you're going through anything or someone you know is going through something, please get help or please help them. Always remember, yes, it's hard, but you're not alone. If you need someone to talk to, I'm all ears. My social media is always listed in the description. Feel free to shoot me a message. Now, October is the month of all things spooky. Yes, I have dropped the ball again this year, but rest assured that I will have a treat for y'all this Halloween. And now that we're in the subject of horror, I want to give a shout out to the horror community on YouTube and on Reddit. Without any of them, we wouldn't have such great stories to read or listen to. So I strongly encourage you to check out the authors of the stories or anyone involved in making this video or any horror video for that matter. I would really appreciate it. I want to start something in the comments for my videos. Write a 2-sentence scary story. Be as creative and as spooky as you'd like. On my next video, I will announce my favorite one and give some honorable mentions. Thank you for stopping by and watching. If you like this video, feel free to hit that like button. If you don't want to miss out on any scary content, hit that subscribe button and the bell icon. If you feel like others need some spookiness in their lives, feel free to share. Thanks for watching, be safe, and remember, everyone is a tad bit insane.